Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Heartland Heritage, where we cover the archaeology here in the Midwest, also across the United States and abroad as well. Just wanted to say, thanks for being patient with me. I know it's been quite a while since I've had a video up. A lot of that has to do with just this time of year here in the States. It just seems like we have one holiday after another, after another, after another. So I've been busy with family, with doing the holiday thing. Also, school has just started recently, so I've been back in school, working with schoolwork and working on dissertations and fun stuff like that, and also my back went out, which is always a treat, because I was supposed to have this video done a lot earlier than that, but then my back went out and I was bedridden for a while, so that was never a good thing. A lot of fun there. But with the holidays coming up, I thought, hey, why not talk about one of the holidays we celebrate here in the end of November, the last Thursday of November here in the United States, and that's Thanksgiving. I just always thought about it. I had talked with Mr. Soup, and we were like, Thanksgiving. I wonder how that came about. Where does the tradition come from? How accurate is the tradition from what we do today, from what was done back when it was first created? So, that'd be kind of interesting to research into and kind of get an idea about. But before we do that, I must say something. Just recently, Mr. Soup did a video, or of a rant, so to speak, about a television show that had Jamie Theakston in it, looking at hidden treasures and secret weapons of the Nazis on a television show, or television station called Yesterday in the UK. I just want to let you know, Mr. Soup and friends from the UK, I'll be more than happy to trade you Jamie Theakston for the person we have here. See, here in the States, we have the History Channel and a show called Ancient Aliens. History Channel, Ancient Aliens. I won't go into that. But the host, or one of the main people you'll see on Ancient Aliens, is this guy, Giorgio Tsoukalos. Oh. We can trade Jamie Theakston for... Yeah, I'd be more than happy. Yeah, we can trade if you want, Mr. Soup. Just let me know. You can take him. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Thanksgiving. We can talk about interesting people talking about history and making it what they want at a later time. I'm sure that'll be an interesting show. But Thanksgiving, yes. So what is Thanksgiving? Well, today here in the States, it's a very big family get-together for a lot of people. It's one of the major holidays here in the United States throughout the year. Families will come together. There's just tons of food all over the place. You got turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes and gravy, candied yams, cranberry sauce, pies, cakes, sweets. There's just tons of food. And the basis behind it is just for the family to get together and just to give thanks for friends, for events that have happened, what we're thankful for, what we kind of just, it's kind of a time of reflection, so to speak. So, but where does this all come from? The Thanksgiving itself, and somehow I have a feeling, just a hunch maybe, I don't think they had like chocolate pie, cheesecake, stuff like that during the first Thanksgiving. Call me crazy, but somehow I think that was pretty accurate. They don't have that back then. But what did they have? Now, it started with, if you don't know, the Pilgrims who came over on the Mayflower that landed on Plymouth, Massachusetts, the Plymouth colony, landed in Massachusetts and made that colony, from England, and I believe it was also from the Netherlands, kind of escaping, I wouldn't say religious persecution per se, but when King Henry VIII took over the church and made it the Church of England, these pilgrims that are called pilgrims today left for the New World to try to get a more simple Christianity for them. It's a way of escape to get to where they felt that they needed to. So it was kind of a religious expedition for them, a religious journey. So that's the reason pilgrim. But when they landed in 1620, the colony was made, and then in 1621 is the first record of the Thanksgiving. You'll see pictures of it all over the place, where you got, the guys with the big hats and the buckle on the front of their hat, and they're all sitting around a big old table, and the Indians are with them, and the Indians are from the tribe of the Wampanoag. Obviously, they have been blended in since then, but there are still some people today who will celebrate it the traditional way, as the Wampanoag did. But and they came and they celebrated this harvest feast for them. At the time, that's what it was called. It was more of a celebration of the harvest. The food was plentiful enough to allow them to make it through the winter, and the natives who helped them learn with the farming and the crops and stuff out here got together with them. And how do we know this? Is because of the documentations. There are two surviving documentations on here from the governor of the colony at the time. And he talks about the Wampanoag showing up, the celebration, them bringing stuff like squash, corn, maize, and also going out and killing 5 deer. So when you think of the spread of the food that was there at that time, it wasn't what you would see today. It was, I'm sure there was turkey, but there was more in the historical documents of, they said, wild fowl. And what they suspect from archaeology and just the local environment around there was stuff like duck and goose. They're pretty sure turkey was on that. But some other meats that you wouldn't have thought of would have been eel from the bay, clams like mussels, shellfish, and lobster also. So that's kind of a little bit of a twist here, especially for us Americans. You don't sit there and see your mother come in with a big old turkey and saying, yes, with the turkey, here, have this nice piece of lobster tail. It just doesn't work that way over here. People would look at you like you're crazy. As far as how else they would do it, I mean, other weird stuff. And it wasn't just a one-day thing. Here it's a one day for the most part. It was over a 3-day period with the Pilgrims. The first day, they would probably put the wild game and stuff on a spit. And once that was done, the following day, whatever was left over, they would boil and kind of make this this broth with the meat, and then add ingredients in there to kind of make a porridge. So that's another thing. For some reason, I just can't imagine, again, my mother coming up going, oh, here, happy Thanksgiving, have some porridge. It just doesn't sound appetizing, but that's what they did. Now, as time went on, it really didn't become the first Thanksgiving until 1623. In 1622 to 1623, there was a drought, a horrible drought, and they survived it, had enough food the following year, and so they had a Thanksgiving to celebrate what they're thankful for, to be alive, to be healthy, to have the food that they need. So that was good. So that was 1623, and I got some other dates here. Bear with me here. I wrote them all down here. So 1623 was the first Thanksgiving, the first official Thanksgiving. And then in 1676, the Charleston, Massachusetts held its first Thanksgiving. But here's the interesting, celebrated their first Thanksgiving, Charleston, Massachusetts, for defeating the natives. So here you got, the first harvest feast in 1621. Woohoo, natives, you're our brother and you've helped us. We're all friends here. We can get along, woohoo. And then even less than 100 years later, they're celebrating Thanksgiving. Woohoo, we've beat the savages, and now we'd be thankful for beating the savages. It's just ironic, at least in my opinion, that it's that way. Then 1777 was the first time all 13 colonies in the New World celebrated Thanksgiving together. And then in 1789, the first president of the United States, George Washington, decided to make Thanksgiving an official holiday. Now, from there, it was just kind of, it wasn't set in stone. It was just an official holiday they would celebrate sometime in the fall, and it would have really no set date. It was just kind of a, it just kind of moved back and forth around. It wasn't until 1863 when President Abraham Lincoln said, we're going to have a Thanksgiving, but now it's going to be on the last week of November. Last Thursday of November as the National Day of Thanksgiving. So that's where, for us, Thursday in the last week of November, that's where our Thanksgiving came from, Abraham Lincoln making that official. But it wasn't until 1941 until Congress officially declared it a national holiday, where you have the days off, where you can spend time with your family. So that was 1941. So interesting enough, Thanksgiving's been around for a long time, but it's still extremely young as an official holiday. And I don't think people really think about that. It's just been around forever. They just kind of take it for granted. And, so be it. That's the way it is. So that's a little bit of the information on Thanksgiving. Again, like I said, the foods that you would have seen back then, nothing like what you would see today. You know, of course you do see the corn and stuff like that, but just, yeah, lobster, eel. Ugh, no, doesn't sound just doesn't sound good and appetizing for that. So that's a little bit about Thanksgiving. I've added some links down below here. One of them is from Plymouth Manor. Plymouth Manor is the original site where some of the archaeology was done. Also, they have days where they go out there and you can walk around on replicas of what the houses looked like there, the colony might have looked like. And they also have some of the natives that come out there that know a lot about the Wampanoag. So it's a really nice, cool website to look at. Feel free to look that over. Also, there is also a good YouTube video of how the natives' perspective of giving thanks. It's very interesting if you want to kind of broaden your horizon, your perspective on this thing. So please feel free to look at those links. Feel free to shoot me an email at archaeosoup.us@gmail.com if you have any questions. And I'm looking forward to a brand new year with Mr. Soup and the gang. We have some good videos, hopefully, and good videos in mind, and hopefully with the new year, some things will calm down, and we'll have some more time for me to send you some more stuff on what I'm doing around here. So I guess for all of you who celebrate Christmas and other holidays this December, be safe, and I look forward to a prosperous and awesome new year. So until then, take care, guys. Peace.